Our rocky planet is split up into 7 major and 8 minor tectonic plates. These plates are effectively the jigsaw pieces that hold us together. These plates rub against one another, forming landmasses over the course of millions of years. There are 4 main continental landmasses. They are Afro-Eurasia, the Americas, Antarctica, and Australia. Afro-Eurasia is gigantic. It's where you'll find around 126 countries, along with 6.7 billion people, around 86% of all humans on Earth. Although it is sometimes disputed and questioned, it is generally accepted that there are 7 continents on Earth. Again, this might be different for you depending on where you're from, your source, and the education curriculum you grew up with. But the generally accepted 7 continents are Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Europe, North America, Australia/Oceania, and South America. Now, is Australia or Oceania the continent? Well, different sources will give you different answers. It is generally accepted that Australia is the continent. Oceania is the wider region encompassing the many Pacifican countries, and then there's the term Australasia, which is a smaller sub-region of Oceania. In this video, we'll be using Oceania. Each of these continents has their own record holders, their tallest, largest, and longest geographical structures. In this video, we'll be comparing them, starting off with each continent's largest country by land area. So Africa's largest country is Algeria, at 2.4 million kilometers squared. This makes it the 10th largest country on Earth. Antarctica is not applicable as there are no countries here, although there are around 50 countries who claim ownership of parts of the region, with Australia claiming the largest amount of land. Asia's largest country kind of has 2 answers. Russia, which is transcontinental, spans across both Asia and Europe. The part of Russia that is in Asia stretches for a distance of 13 million kilometers squared, which makes it the largest country on the continent. If we were to exclude the Russians, then China would be the largest country that is found solely in Asia, at around 9.6 million kilometers squared. This makes China the 3rd or 4th, depending on your source, largest country on the planet. Australia is, of course, the largest country in Oceania, stretching a distance of 7.7 million kilometers squared, the 6th largest country in the world, and the largest country that is found solely in the southern hemisphere. For Europe, the part of Russia that is found on the continent, although only a quarter of its total size, is still easily bigger than any other country in Europe. The European part of Russia is nearly 4 million kilometers squared. This is actually larger than the 7 next biggest countries on the continent. Wow. Ukraine is the largest country that is found solely in Europe, at 603,000 kilometers squared, ranking them the 44th largest in the world. At almost 10 million kilometers squared, Canada is North America's largest country, and the 2nd largest on Earth. Other than the United States, there is no country that comes even close to their sizes on this continent. Even Greenland, which is part of the North American continent, is less than a quarter of the size of Canada. Brazil dwarfs every other country in South America, at 8.5 million kilometers squared. Brazil is so large that it actually takes up around half of the entire continent. Even Argentina, which is a very large country, is 3 times smaller than Brazil. Next, we'll take a look at each continent's tallest mountain by sea level. These 7 mountain peaks are known as the 7 summits. Now, due to the Oceania/Australia continent debate, there are different versions of this classification. We'll explain in a minute. So Africa's tallest mountain, and perhaps one of the most famous on Earth, is Mount Kilimanjaro, which stands 5,895 meters tall. It is a dormant volcano found in Tanzania in East Africa. Antarctica's tallest mountain is Vinson Massif. Now, when you think of Antarctica, you probably think of very flat, icy landscapes, right? You don't really associate the region with tall mountains. Well, its tallest mountain actually stands 4,892 meters tall, so not as tall as Mount Kilimanjaro, but certainly not far off. Asia's tallest mountain is of course Mount Everest, the tallest and most famous mountain on the planet. It stands 8,849 meters tall and sits on the China-Nepal border. At the time of making this video, around 6,400 people have reached the summit. To climb Mount Everest, it costs between $30,000 and $200,000 US, depending on the level of luxury expected. Okay, so this is the controversial one. Some sources use Oceania's tallest mountain, which is Puncak Jaya, found on the island of New Guinea. It stands 4,884 meters tall. However, some sources use mainland Australia's tallest mountain, which stands 2,228 meters tall. Mount Elbrus is Europe's tallest mountain. It stands 5,642 meters tall. It is found in Russia's deep south, just north of the border with Georgia. Now, this mountain is found so east of what we consider Europe, but it is still part of the European continental plate, making it part of the Seven Summits. Mount Denali is North America's tallest mountain, located in Alaska. It stands 6,190 meters tall. Denali is found around 380 kilometers north of Anchorage, Alaska's most populated city. Mount Aconcagua is South America's tallest mountain, standing 6,961 meters tall. It is the tallest mountain on Earth outside of Asia, yet it still doesn't even make the top 100 tallest mountains on Earth. Around 3,500 kilometers north of Mount Aconcagua, you will find Chimborazo, which, although the 37th tallest mountain on the continent, is the closest point on Earth to outer space. This is due to it being located closer to Earth's equatorial bulge. A fun fact about these 7 peaks is that around 350 mountaineers have climbed all of them. The first was a man named Dick Bass in 1985. What a great name. Alright, so now let's compare each continent's largest island by land size. So Africa's largest island and the 4th largest on Earth is Madagascar, which is around 587,000 kilometers squared. This also makes it the world's 2nd largest island country, only behind Indonesia. Antarctica's largest island, Alexander Island, is minuscule compared to Madagascar. It is around 12 times smaller, at 49,000 kilometers squared. However, it is the world's 2nd largest uninhabited island. Borneo is Asia's largest island, at around 750,000 kilometers squared, the 3rd largest island on Earth. Malaysia, Brunei and Indonesia all own parts of this island, with Indonesia owning by far the most. Okay, so again, Oceania's largest island is a little tricky. If you see Australia as a continental landmass, then New Guinea is the largest at 786,000 kilometers squared. If not, then mainland Australia would be the largest island at just under 7.6 million kilometers squared. Great Britain is the largest island in Europe. Great Britain is, by the way, this landmass here. It does not include Northern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland. So Great Britain is 209,000 kilometers squared. The UK as a whole is 243,000, and the British Isles, which encompasses all of this region, is 315,000 kilometers squared. Greenland, although culturally more tied to Europe, sits in the North American plate, making it the continent's largest island. It is by far the largest island too, at 2.1 million kilometers squared. This makes it the largest island on Earth. Again, that's if you exclude mainland Australia. South America's largest island, just like Antarctica, is rather small, at just 48,000 kilometers squared. The island is found in South America's deep south and is split almost equally between Argentina and Chile. The island is called Isla Grande de Tierra del Fuego. So next up is each continent's longest river. So Africa's longest river is the River Nile, whose total length is 6,650 kilometers. Whether this makes it the longest river on Earth is actually disputed and up for debate. The Nile is often associated with Egypt, but it actually flows through 11 different countries, It flows from the region of Lake Victoria in Uganda all the way up to the Mediterranean Sea. The Onyx River is Antarctica's longest river. Its total length is just 32 kilometers, making it 208 times shorter than the Nile. The Yangtze River is Asia's longest river and just falls short of the Nile's length at 6,300 kilometers long. The Yangtze River actually incredibly only flows through a single country, China, making it the longest river in the world to flow through just one country. The river flows through the region of Tibet and extends all the way to the East China Sea. The Yangtze River is long, but it is nowhere near the length of the Great Wall of China, which is around 3 times the length. The Murray River is Oceania's longest river. Located in Australia, it flows for a distance of 2,500 kilometers. It is also the world's third longest navigable river. The Volga River is Europe's longest river, which is found in Russia yet again. It starts northwest of Moscow and flows through to southern Russia and into the Caspian Sea, for a total length of 3,500 kilometers. If we were to exclude Russia, then the Danube in Central and Southeastern Europe would be the longest at 2,850 kilometers long. North America's longest river is the Missouri, which has a length of 3,470 kilometers. The Missouri flows through 7 states, starting in Montana before joining and ending in the Mississippi. The Amazon River is South America's longest river at either 6,400 or 6,800 kilometers long. The length is actually disputed. The latter would make it the longest river on Earth. Next up is the largest lake on every continent. For this, we'll go by their total area size. So Africa's largest lake and the 3rd largest on Earth is Lake Victoria. Tanzania, Uganda and Kenya all have shorelines on this lake. It stretches for a total area of just under 60,000 kilometers squared. This makes it larger than countries like Croatia or Costa Rica. Lake Vostok is Antarctica's largest lake, covering a distance of 12,500 kilometers squared, making it the 16th largest on Earth. Now here's a quick fun fact for you. Vostok Research Station, which is found just south of this lake, has the record for the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth at -89 degrees Celsius. Although named a sea, the Caspian Sea is technically a lake, and therefore Asia's largest. It is also the largest lake on Earth at 389,000 kilometers squared, meaning it covers a distance larger than around 130 countries. It is just smaller than Zimbabwe but larger than Norway. It is found west of Central Asia. Lake Eyre is Oceania's largest. It is found in South Australia and covers a distance of 9,500 kilometers squared. Lake Ladoga is Europe's largest lake, and just like every other winner for Europe in this video, it is found in Russia. Lake Ladoga is located northeast of St. Petersburg and covers a distance of just under 18,000 kilometers squared, about the same size as Kuwait. Lake Superior is North America's largest lake. It is located on the border between the US and Canada. It covers a distance of around 82,000 kilometers squared, making it the 2nd largest on Earth. Lake Superior is the 3rd largest lake by volume, holding 10% of all the fresh water on the planet. Lake Titicaca sits on the border between Peru and Bolivia. It is the largest lake in South America, covering a distance of around 8,400 kilometers squared. This makes it just a little bit smaller than the island of Cyprus. So there we have it, some of the longest, largest and tallest geographical features of each continent. If you can think of any of the good ones, please let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you very much for watching.